Hello and welcome to this video presentation on the assessment task to complete the unit in the Diploma of Management. It's called Manage Quality Customer Service. Its unit code is BSBCUS501C. So I'm going straight to page 5, which is the assessment task where they start. This assignment is split up into two parts, as they usually are. Part A, some knowledge-based questions to show me that you've read a few of the notes and you understand them. And then part B, which are the actual assessment tasks. So let's look at part A. There's only 4 questions in here. The first one is list and briefly describe the aspects of legislation or ethical practice that may apply to customer service provision, particularly areas relating to privacy, anti-discrimination, work health and safety, codes of practice, consumer law and business ethics. Okay, so we haven't looked at those in the workshops, but I'm looking for just a working knowledge of the aspects of those things that might apply. So privacy is a pretty obvious one. Discriminating against customers certainly is not on. Keeping people safe at work or customers as they visit your workplace is also crucial. Codes of practice that might apply in your work situation, consumer law and business ethics. So business ethics is a little bit nebulous, but ethical practice is a really important part of customer service. Particularly if we've got a customer service charter, because that should reflect ethical practice. Anyway, so I'm just looking for the working bits from that are important to customer service. Let's move on to task 2. Describe how moments of truth can be used to research a cycle of service analysis. So if you come to the workshop, you will have seen that demonstrated. If you haven't, then it's in the notes, it's in the chapter from the textbook. It's also in the learning chapters from the toolbox that you have access to. So fairly straightforward to just point me in the direction of what those things mean and how they can be used. All right, number 3, discuss the role of a customer service charter in the provision of high quality customer service. So there are all sorts of different types of charters, to simple 3-file brochures right through to 20 and 30 page documents with all sorts of penalties that we might provide if we don't provide the right amount of service that we said we would. So there's a huge continuum there. So you're asked to think, okay, well, what would a charter help our organisation, and if so, how would it help? So I think we discussed that a fair bit in the workshop. There are a few examples handed out that will be available to you as well. So let's move on to number 4. Describe how customers with special needs should be managed and provide 2 examples that illustrate your points. So special needs could be people with a disability, could be people from different socio-economic backgrounds, from other cultures. Any special need qualifies here. So hopefully you can think of a couple that apply to you. Let's move on to part B. So these are the assessment tasks. So task 1 is an analysis of the internal customers that are served by your area. So we need a list of those to start with and the services that you provide. Then on to 1.2, in consultation with other staff, draft a questionnaire. So that's just surveying people's perceptions of the service that you provide to them or your team provides to them. But if you've got some other way of measuring that data, then I'm happy to look at that too. So whatever you use, it needs to show there's an objective analysis of the service to the internal customers. You're asked to identify a couple that you can work on and implement those ideas over the period of the assignment, so over 3 or 4 weeks, and then report back to me using the action plan format, if you like, which is in the assignment, or one of your own. But just report back us how well that went. And this is meant to be done in collaboration with your colleagues, so you're not just on your own. So hopefully that'll be a good experience and lots of good things will come from that. So that's basically task 1. Task 2, same sort of idea, but this one's about external customers, so those people who pay for our services from outside. We want you to make a judgment about that once again in conjunction with your colleagues. And there's a rating sheet provided on page 8 and page 9 And it just looks at the features of customer service that we could provide to external customers. And with your colleagues, you can probably make a rating against each of those key aspects, and then hopefully pick a couple of things that you might want to improve for them as well. And then the same sort of thing again, we can use the action plan format. It looks like this. You don't have to use that one, but something like that will be good. And once again, put something into place, report back on how that went during the assignment period. Right, now 2.4, this is one I want to particularly draw your attention to. So for two of the action items that you've chosen, either in task 1 or task 2, so that's the internal or the external customers, write a short report to senior management recommending the 2 improvements and include the following: a cost-benefit analysis for each improvement. Now I don't need that to be dollars and cents, right down to the last cent or anything. It needs to just show costs versus benefits, and it's very clear that the benefits outweigh the costs. So it's a proper consideration of what you come up with as an improvement, and the benefits to the organisation, to the customer, or to profit. All of those things are fine. Then you have to come up with, this is part B now, the monitoring tools. So these are the quantitative monitoring tools, the ones that give us figures and facts. So how would you monitor whether the thing has actually achieved the satisfaction that you wanted or the performance levels that you expected? So what would you measure? How would you measure it? And then the qualitative performance measurement as well. So this is people's ideas and opinions that you might get. And that's usually from interviews, one-on-one contact, focus groups, things like that. But it can be in the form of a survey as well, where you've got comments that people could give you back again. Okay, so a bit of discussion about those. Let's move on to task 3. So this is a table I'm asking you to complete, and it's trying to look at, okay, what records do we keep? And we might have some that are specifically about customers and the service they get, but we might just have a whole lot of records that we keep anyway, invoices, that sort of stuff, financial statements, whatever it is. And just think about it. So the headings of these columns are just the record itself, the type of information that is stored with that record, the benefits for customer service. So it could be that that information will tell us who deals with us the most, what do they buy the most, what time of year do they buy them, that sort of thing. And then I want you to think about the possible improvements. That's the final column. Could we actually get more information from that record that we do at the moment, or could we add something to it to even get better information? Or even come up with a whole new record if you want to. Anyway, it's a pretty useful thing to do. Hopefully it will justify why you keep all those records as well. Let's move on to task 4 then. Compare problem solving and evaluation techniques used for internal and external customer service issues. So do we use the same problem solving and complaint procedures for internal and external customers? Probably not. So tell me about what's different. And I'll actually say here, discuss the differences in approach and application of these techniques and recommend any improvements. So that's part A. Moving on to B. Briefly describe 2 relevant methods to support staff to provide consistently high levels of customer service. So one of your methods, I think, has to be coaching, doesn't it? Tell me about how we can coach people to improve that. How do we have a customer service culture? And I guess coaching is one aspect of promoting a customer service culture, but I'm asking you for 2, so let's come up with the other one yourselves. So that's it for Manage Quality Customer Service. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.